Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sleuthing Eye-Opening Tales of the Past, or as I would say, it's present, but you've made many memories in the past, haven't you, CJ?
Yes, a lifetime of memories.
Well, in today's show, on my Sleuthing Eye-Opening Tales of the Past, we had some technical glitches. In fact, I'm having a glitch right now on my sound. And I wanted to let everybody know that CJ's show normally airs on Thursdays, and because of some glitches that we had, like I wasn't able to convert her stuff to the MP4 that we need and the MP3, we decided to pre-record a show together because I have 53 minutes on my show. And I wanted to talk about her show because her show is making a difference. And my show is about history, but how people around the world do make a difference. And on Giving Tuesday, we're the lead organization for Giving Tuesday in the area in Southwest Florida here. So we're going to talk about that. But before we do that, we want to air what you should have seen yesterday for CJ's show because it's so timely. Because if you are watching this on video, you see she has on a top of a pumpkin with leaves on her head for a hat, and I'm in an Easter hat. I have bunny ears because why not? Why not? We can, you know what? We can wear whatever we want, CJ. We
Some
are
people have rabbit
seasoned.
for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you know what? Some people do, and who knows? Maybe it wasn't a turkey. Maybe it was rabbit that they had on the first Thanksgiving. What do you think? What
Who
do you
knows?
Post in the
That's
comments
way
if
in the
you think,
past.
yeah, post in the comments if you think maybe it was rabbit, not a turkey that they had for Thanksgiving. So, CJ, explain to us before we even get going on your video what exactly you're doing here. What was the purpose?
Well, it's right close to Thanksgiving and Christmas, and I have a history of making candies and things like that, and chocolate. I had a show sometime back in June with Chocolate 101. So I wanted to carry it on with Thanksgiving, and I wanted to show people how easy they can make these little place settings for Thanksgiving that have that personal touch. They can make a difference in their families' lives by creating something that they handmade, and it's really cute, really easy to do, and that's what the show is going to be about.
Well, we are going to air your video here, and if you notice, I do have rabbit ears on my hat. And the show that we aired for her yesterday was Chocolate 101, but it was done for Easter. But the same premise is there. So yeah, so here we go. CJ, go ahead and play your video.
It's top of the hour, and it's time. On this show, we explore things and people in the community that make a difference in other people's lives. I'm your host, CJ Metcalfe, and today's show is sponsored by the Gulf Theater at the Military Heritage Museum. You can go to gulftheater.org and see the lineup of shows that they have available for the fall and the spring season. And while you're at the museum with Thanksgiving and Christmas right around the corner, you can pick up one of these for free. This is a place setting that you can set at a table, and it's reserved for a veteran. Many of you know that veterans are very near and dear to my heart. And as we gather around with our families, there are those who are serving and unable to attend a Thanksgiving dinner. So let's keep them in mind. And the beauty of this place card is you can use it for Christmas as well. You flip it over and it makes a little pin, and you'll be able to use it at Christmas. On today's show, with Thanksgiving right around the corner, it's always special when you add that personal homemade touch. And today we're going to make turkeys, not the kind of turkeys you're thinking of. We're going to make chocolate turkeys that will serve as a place setting at your individual plates. And it'll also serve as a dessert after the meal. No, get. These placemat turkeys are so easy to do. 3 ingredients, 3 steps. Piece of cake, right? The first thing that you're going to need is some chocolate, some melting chocolate. You can either use chocolate chips or the candy melting chocolate. Whatever you do, either one of them will work fine. I encourage everyone to, anytime you melt chocolate, to do it in a double boiler. That way you can control it and it doesn't burn. People who microwave it, the only chance with that is that you are risking burning it. So a double boiler, you have better control over it. You can keep stirring it so that it doesn't burn. And how you know your chocolate has burned is it gets hard. So there's, you've got to be very, very careful with that. And if you have hardened chocolate, there is a way to thin it down a bit, and that is to use coconut oil. It's one of the ingredients in making chocolate. So it only makes sense that you can use a little coconut oil to help thin it down. Never put water in it. And with chocolate, always store it at room temperature. Do not put it in the freezer or the refrigerator because that gets moisture into the chocolate. Chocolate doesn't like water. So the next ingredient will be something round. You can either use the Linders, which are a bigger round ball, or the Whoppers. And you can see the difference in the size of them. This is the Linders and this is the Whoppers. So depending upon what you want to do, what size you want, will depend upon what you want. So that's ingredient number 2. The third ingredient are Brock's Stars. You've seen these chocolate stars for years. That's what you're going to need. You'll need 2 for each turkey. And then finally, make up some icing. This is just to decorate the turkey with. You just need white and red. And I put on a number 18 decorating tube and a number 5 writing tube. So those are kind of on the side that you'll need. We'll show you how to use those very shortly. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your melted chocolate, make sure that there's no lumps or anything like that in there, and that it's nice and thin. You're going to take one of your stars, set it down. You're going to take the whatever round object you're using, I say malted milk balls, and you're just going to touch it down in the chocolate, get a little bit on there like that, and then you're going to set it on top of that star, just like that. The Brock stars, just simply how they're made, they're done with a star with a little dollop on top, kind of like a Dairy Queen ice cream cone. And if you're going to place something round on top of that dollop, sometimes it rolls off. So I take a knife and I just shave the top of it off to create more of a flat surface for your round malt ball to set up. The next step is to take your melted chocolate, and we're going to put a dollop onto the second star. And I'm getting my fingers in it. It's okay. One thing about this, when you make mistakes, you can eat it. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to set it over here on this pan because I need a back to hold that star. Okay, and what I'll do to speed this process up is you can put this in the freezer just for a minute or two to let it set up. Now, I said do not put chocolate in the freezer or the refrigerator, but just for the few seconds to set the chocolate up, you're not going to hurt anything. So I've got my turkey. I'm going to bring it out here, and this is where we're going to use the icing. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the red, and we're going to put the gobbler, I don't know what they call them, the dwaddle, the gobbler, whatever, on my turkey. So, here, guys, hey, straighten up. And I'm squeezing the icing out, and you just bring it up and over. Then I'm going to take my white icing, and I'm going to draw the wings on it. So it's starting to look like a turkey. And then I'm going to take a little bit of chocolate left. And what I've done is toothpicks, and I made these, I printed these up, but I just attached it to toothpick a little piece of paper for the names that are going to be at the place setting. And I'm going to put a little chocolate on that. And I'm going to put it down, oops, behind the turkey. Simple as that. It's done. Now you have individual little place settings. And if you want to take it one step further, you can. They sell these candy cups in the store. They're usually in the cake decorating aisle. And you can take your Tom turkey and set it down in there and set it at your place setting. Fun, homemade, something your family will appreciate and enjoy, and you can eat it. That's the best part. It's a little dessert treat. These are really cute when you make up a dozen of them and they're all sitting around with their little signs, you know, Sam, Tom, Mom, Jackie, Isaac. It just makes it a lot of fun. And the kids love these, especially the grandkids, nieces and nephews. They are just enthralled with it. So as I said, using your malted milk balls, sometimes I know at the fresh market, they have bigger malted milk balls. I particularly like to buy them there. The Linder's ball that I've used here, it's pretty big. So those ones that I get at the fresh market down there, you know, those are in those bins where you scoop your own. Those are really the perfect size for this. So do something special this Thanksgiving and give your family your own homemade treat. The big question comes is, oh my goodness, we have leftover chocolate. What do you do with that? Well, you can take and pour it out onto either wax paper or parchment paper, let it go out. Then you can add crunched up pretzels to it. You can add peppermint bark to it and break it up after it sets in the refrigerator. Just break up little pieces. And that makes for a nice treat also. Or you can make peanut clusters. And I always say, you're going to want to use cocktail peanuts. Cocktail peanuts are clean and they don't have the red skin. So that's what you want to use to make a peanut cluster. So I've got leftover chocolate in here, and I'm just going to throw those in there, stir them up, get them all coated, and then I'll be dropping it by spoonfuls onto this sheet. Now, you can go ahead and keep adding to this if you want to add some miniature marshmallows to it. You're going to end up making a rocky road. I never let chocolate go to waste. And if you don't want to make up a treat with it, you can go ahead and pour it out on the sheet and break it up and just put it in a plastic bag and store it in your cabinet to use next time. So I'm going to just take it, drop those down, and there I've got peanut butters, and I've used up all my leftover chocolate. Nothing goes to waste. You do that until you're done. Coming up next, I'm going to give you some little holiday tips and tricks in the kitchen. I had mentioned earlier in the program about these place card settings that you can pick up at the Military Heritage Museum. I didn't mention they are free. There's no charge for these. This is to give honor and tribute to our military and our veterans that can't be at the holiday table. So stop by the museum and pick one of these or two of them up to give to family. And as I said, remember that it also doubles as a Christmas placement. So you'll want to use those. Now, as I wrap this show up, I want to give you some holiday tricks and treats in the kitchen that you can use in preparing meals. Have family in, and you want to maybe make poached eggs for everybody. Serve them on top of a piece of toast. Yum. Who doesn't like that, right? Well, poached eggs, sometimes you have to make them one or two at a time or something, but the trick to make 12, 24 of them at one time is to take your muffin tins, give them a light spray with the cooking spray, put water in there, and then drop an egg in each muffin bowl, put it in the oven, and bake it for 15 minutes. You can check it, and voila, you've got poached eggs. When you're making your recipes and you're using measuring utensils, if you ever have used peanut butter or shortening, honey, anything like that, you know how it sticks in the measuring utensil and we tend to stick our finger in there and clean it out. Well, there's a better way to do it. Take your cooking spray and spray that measuring cup with cooking spray, and then put your ingredient in there, and you'll find that it will release much easier. Garlic cloves, if you got a recipe that uses a lot of garlic, who likes peeling garlic, right? So there's a couple of ways that you can solve that problem real quick. Number one is to take your garlic heads and you put them in a jar that has a lid. Tighten the lid on it and sit there and shake the jar up, and those papers will come right off. They bounce around on each other and it causes them to fall off. The other thing that you can do is you can put them on a plate in the microwave for 15 seconds. And what that does is it releases those papers, and you'll find that they come off very easily. Now, whether you need to trim the little top and bottom of it before or after, that's up to you, but it doesn't affect getting those papers off. Let's say you're going to make a salad, like, what is it, the Waldorf Salad that has the apples and the grapes and all those yummy things in there. Who likes sitting there with a knife having grapes, olives, cherry tomatoes? It's like, oh, that's boring. And a nice, quick, and easy way to do that is to take a plate, and you can use a paper plate if you want, something that doesn't have a real high lid on it. But put your, let's just say your cherry tomatoes, spread them around in that plate, take another plate and put it on top, slightly compress it just to hold those still, and take like a bread knife and go between those two plates. Voila, you've cut a dozen tomatoes in half, or olives, or whatever your round object is that you need to have. Simple, right? Something else that you can do, let's say you've got, preparing mashed potatoes and gravy. The mashed potatoes are always, they're time consuming. And how do you keep them warm? Do you put them in the oven where they dry out? And, do you microwave them at the end? Well, okay, I got other things that I'm microwaving to warm up. Simple fix. Put them in your crock pot with the lid on. Turn it on low, high, whatever temperature you're wanting. And they'll stay warm without drying out, without cooking more. So, nice, quick, easy fix. And then when it comes to the gravy, you know how when you make gravy ahead of time and it sits there and it gets that skim over on the top of it, and then you end up having to deal with reheating it. You're having to reheat too many things. The microwave gets very busy. Simple fix to that. Take your gravy, and as soon as you make it, put it in a thermos. It'll stay nice and warm, easy to pour out into a serving dish. Voila, problem solved. And another little tidbit for you who are traveling during these holidays, maybe you're renting a car, or maybe you're a family that has two cars and you swap them out, driving them, and you pull into the gas station and you go, which side is the gas tank on? You're looking in your mirrors, I've gotten out and walked around the car trying to find out what side the gas tank was on. Well, an indicator is on your fuel gauge itself on your dashboard. If you will look at it, especially when they're low on fuel, it has one of two things that tells you what side your gas tank's on. It either has an arrow that points left or right, or it has an image of a gas pump with the handle, and it's whatever side the handle is on is the side that your gas tank's on. So keep that in mind when you're switching cars. That way it'll save you some embarrassing moments of some real head scratches trying to figure out what side that tank is on. Tune in next week. It's Thanksgiving, and we may have some more surprises for you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you later on. Bye-bye.
DJ, that was really good, and I learned things there. I learned about the gas tank, and my gas tank showed yesterday. I know which side it's on, but you're right. Especially if you're renting a car, that you never know. If you're down, is it on the left or right when I'm pulling into a gas station?
I know.
Yeah, and you're going, oh, that's crazy. I learned a lot, and I learned something I already knew. I don't like to cook. I'm watching you make these turkeys, and I'm going, that's a lot of work for one bite. Food is gone. I think that's the reason I never enjoyed cooking that much. I know you love to cook and you're great at it. And my family is my mom, my sisters, they're excellent. My son, excellent. My girls. But I was left in the bunny patch when I was left out. I just never had that desire. And you and I talked off air that we didn't ever learn how to cook. Both of us set the kitchen on fire at one time when we were first married years ago.
Oh,
And
yes.
yeah. So I am so grateful that we were able, things happen for reasons, and there was a tech problem. And I was telling you, I'm so busy teching everybody's shows and all that I am actually forgetting to line up guests for my other show. But I have Giving Tuesday because I'm the chair for the area. Plus, CJ, I'm the chair of fundraising. I sit on two boards, and I'm the fundraising chair on both of them. And one of the things is I'm sending out all these emails, trying to get sponsors for different events and trying to do this and that. Do you think I should go for therapy? Yeah, I know. And
Marie, aside from all of that, I still think you ought to go for therapy.
I know.
Oh,
Can we talk? Joan Rivers, I miss her. Can we talk?
I go
And
for therapy.
I do well,
Yes,
good.
ma'am.
I know a lot of people that do. Do you go weekly, daily?
Um, well, I'm to the point now, I've graduated. So I'm to the point now where I go once every 3 months.
Oh, hey, that's good. That
But
is good.
I
And
started out going every week.
yeah, we raised a grandchild, and from the time she was like 6 years old, we had her in therapy just because of different issues going on. And it's not a bad thing. In fact, all of us, I think, at one time have have things in our lives that happen, even from our childhood, and we need to talk about it because to a professional. You can talk about it to your friends and people, and they'll give you advice, but not the type of advice that really to help heal. Now, let's go on to Marie's part of the show, which is my sleuthing one. But I want to talk with you because I want to talk about your show, but all the people you bring on that make a difference in our communities, in our world. And one of the things that you do is you're making a difference in so many people's lives, CJ, by giving them the opportunity to be on your show. There's many things that I personally have learned about that I was not aware of that was out there, even about Race Across America. I wasn't aware of that program. And the things at the Heritage Museum. And let me tell you, people, if you don't get a chance to go to the Military Heritage Museum, especially right now over Christmas, that place is decorated to the hilt. I love it, and I think Dr. Klein donated, or they're using his decorations. That man, he's amazing, and let's talk about him because he makes a difference in Charlotte County. That man